Danny Flexen here for Seconds Out. Delighted to be joined by trainer Shane McGuigan here at the new home of McGuigan's gym. And of course, we'll talk about that and about Daniel Dubois, who we've just watched train. But first of all, how happy are you feeling after a great, successful weekend at Fight Camp?
Yeah, it was a great one. We had Chris Billam-Smith win the European, British, and obviously defend his Commonwealth. Tough fight. Don't like to see Chris in those sort of slugfests, but great fight and a real sort of rocky story for him. Do you know what I mean? He's he had the rocky fight to sort of finish off the story. He's just turned 31 today, so he's done everything a little bit behind time almost, but maximised himself and got the achievements now for life, which is pretty amazing.
How did you feel when the final bell rang, you were waiting for the decision? How confident were you that you'd got it?
I thought, look, I mean, I always judge things really harshly, and I had him up by 1, but I actually felt he was up by 3. My dad had him up by 4 rounds. The commentary was a little bit, he had Chris Lloyd, who's was quite pro McCarthy, and you also had Andy Lee, who has known Tommy McCarthy since they were a kid, and they kept saying, what Tommy has to do is he has to do this, and that's a great shot, and he just needs to do this. It kind of felt like they obviously really wanted him to win, but he didn't win. So that would have swayed the viewers at home, but up close, I mean, Chris got hurt in the first round. It was pretty visible that he got hurt, but Tommy McCarthy was hurt in the round, but he just didn't show it as much. And Chris sometimes fights lazy, sometimes fights too tired, and he makes those rounds that should be. He's done enough work to win the rounds, but he gets caught with 1 or 2 stupid shots at the end of a round or halfway through it, and the judges sort of sometimes give it the other way. And it's like he did the same thing against Dukar. It was like you could have made that so much more clinical, but these are all lessons that he needs to take and just try and improve on.
And there was a lot of needle in the build-up, but that seemed to melt away after the fight. Grueling 12 rounds. Will we see it again? Will there be a rematch?
Potentially, yeah. I mean, that's a fight that I definitely think's a great fight. I think just stylistically, it's always going to be an exciting fight. So we manage Chris, so I'll be well up for that fight. It's just, we've got to see if it works out with Eddie and the TV dates and what we can get. And really as well, like Tommy was highly ranked, Chris is highly ranked for the world honours, but I think I want to keep Chris in and around this level. So why not roll it back?
Now, we also saw Anthony Fowler get some valuable rounds in against Rico Mueller, and his next fight announced straight afterwards as well. First of all, what did you make of his performance?
I thought he was a bit flat early on. Winning the round so comfortable that he was just a bit flat. He hurt Rico Mueller a few times with left hooks, but he's really tough. Do you know what I mean? He was really tough. Took a very good shot. I think the actual added weight on Mueller actually helped him absorb a bit better of a shot. But good to get rounds in. I know like no one goes and tries to get rounds in, but I think Fowler was emotionally quite drained. Serena had a baby at the start. On Sunday. He was in hospital for 3 days there, and then he had a change of opponent. So it's all very draining. Do you know what I mean? He didn't get any training done for 4 or 5 days straight, and then he come in and trying to sort of liven himself back up. But he's going to have to be on much better form to beat Liam Smith. But it's a fight that I wouldn't have taken this fight if I didn't truly believe that he was going to win the fight. Because it's not about money for Fowler at the moment. It's not about sort of huge fights. It's about stepping him up. And Liam Smith is a very credible opponent in the sense that former world champion, boxed Canelo, went 12 rounds of Jamie McGuigan, should have won his last fight. You know what I mean? He should have won his last fight. So he is still world level. But it's a fight that I just know that stylistically it's going to be a hard fight, don't get me wrong, but it's a fight that Fowler has to be able to overcome if he wants to get onto the world level.
Does it surprise you that on social media, at least, the general consensus seems to be it's too soon for Fowler and that he may be outclassed? It surprised me.
Of course, because you can only gauge it off his fight against Scott Fitzgerald. Do you know what I mean? But he's made huge improvements since then. And Scott Fitzgerald, I mean, Liam Smith's a much better fighter than Scott Fitzgerald. So people are going to just look at it from a statistics point and go, wait, he's better than Scott Fitzgerald and he lost to Scott Fitzgerald. So yeah, it's going to be a one-sided beatdown by Liam Smith, but that's not the way it works. It's not the way boxing works. And, you know, Fowler does the weight comfortable. Liam Smith struggles at that weight. I know he does. He's been there a hell of a long time. But that doesn't mean that he's not going to be well up for this fight. I think we'll probably see. We've got to prepare for the best Liam Smith, the guy that beat Liam Williams twice, the guy that put on a great fight against Canelo. That was one of his best performances, even though he lost. And he got stopped, but it was still one of his best performances. He gave him a lot to think about. So Fowler needs to really be on point.
Presumably he won't need any help with motivation, though. There seems to be some sort of issue between them from a while ago, or him and the Smith family at least. Yeah. And it's battle of Liverpool pride as well.
I don't know what the needle is really. I think it's all so long ago. But I know Liam, out of everyone's probably the one that would hold grudges the longest, because he's quite a passionate guy. Callum and Fowler boxed, I think, 3 times, or so 2 or 3 times. So I don't think that Callum and Anthony, I think, are quite friendly, but I just don't know about Liam. So it's going to be great. That's what Eddie wants. Eddie wants the needle. He wants the needle. There's going to be needle because you're with Liam Smith. He just tends to have that because he's a passionate guy. So is Fowler. He's very vocal. Says a lot. says 10 sentences in one will do. So yeah, we're gonna have some fun with the build-up.
At least he's not with your old mate Joe Gallagher anymore, because that would have been even more fun.
Yeah, but myself and Joe actually have a lot of respect for each other now. Do you know what I mean? So I don't think that will ever allow that to get. I'm not going to say we were young and naive because Joe was like a 50-year-old man, but we both were raw, and now we understand that fighters come and go, and you've got to keep a respect amongst each other as trainers. And there's one thing I do is respect other trainers. So no, we're not going to have that needle. He's got Joe McNally, I think, in his corner, which let's hope he doesn't pipe up, because he lost. He had Craig Glover in against CBS. It didn't end well for him.
Now, you mentioned a couple of things there that I have to ask now about Carl Frampton coming over to be in Tommy McCarthy's corner. Were you surprised, first of all, when you kind of bumped into him and realised why he was there?
No, I knew he was coming. Do you know what I mean? So it's just a shame that he's trying to steal the limelight from Tommy, because he's had his moment. He's retired and he's still trying to. If he's going to come into our dressing room, if he's going to come over, be the bucket boy, pay for his own way to come over, then he's going to. It looks like he's trying to steal the attention. So I was just a bit disappointed in that, really, because our beef aside, it's not about me and him. I don't want to, and that's the thing that annoyed me, is that people were trying to draw away the attention from CBS and Tommy. Like, they're the ones that are going in, they're the ones that are fighting, they're the ones at the end of the fight that said that they had a fucking hard fight, and they both congratulated each other for a great contest. That's the way it should be, not Frampton trying to stay relevant.
It seems to be a bit of a pattern, former fighters kind of holding on to the past, perhaps, when it comes to you or relationships you've had.
We're not going to get into it.
Okay.
No, we don't need to get into it. I mean, it's just the way it is. Like, they should be thanking me, but that's for another day.
I was just going to ask if it disappoints you, that's all. Cause
it does. Of course it disappoints me. I mean, I'm only human, and I just don't see why there's any need for it. But I move on. Do you know what I mean? This is busy gym, world champions in the gym, a new wave of talent. I'm going to always be training fighters for as long as I want to train fighters. So just don't be bitter, just be better.
Very good.